He controlled Harlem without a badge, a vote, or permission from anyone downtown. And when he walked the streets, even the police crossed to the other side. If you love stories about power built in the shadows, where loyalty was currency and survival was strategy, make sure to follow, because this story rewrites the rules of the American underworld. Harlem, New York City. October 31st, 1905. 11:47 p.m. Ellsworth Raymond Johnson is born in Charleston, South Carolina. His mother names him after her father. The family calls him Bumpy before he turns 6. A deformity on the back of his head. A large bump gives him the nickname. It sticks for life. 14. Charleston streets are violent. Bumpy is 9 years old. He watches his older brother killed by white supremacists during a race riot. No arrests are made. His mother decides the South will kill her children one by one. She packs 2 suitcases. The family moves north, Harlem, 1914. The Johnson family arrives at 139th Street and Lenox Avenue. Bumpy is small for his age but quick with his hands. He joins a street gang within 3 weeks. The gang runs dice games and protection rackets between 130th and 145th Streets. Bumpy is assigned as a lookout. He watches how money moves. He watches who pays and who doesn't. He watches what happens to the ones who refuse. 20. Bumpy is 15. He is arrested for the first time. Armed robbery. He serves 2 years at a juvenile facility in the Bronx. Inside, he learns card counting, lock-picking, and how to read people faster than they can lie. He is released in 1922. He returns to Harlem with a plan. Harlem, 1925. Prohibition is in full effect. Alcohol is illegal. Demand is sky-high. Bumpy starts working for Stephanie St. Clair, known as Madam Queen. She runs the most profitable numbers racket in Harlem. The numbers game is simple. People bet on 3-digit numbers drawn daily. Winners get paid 40 to 1. Losers try again tomorrow. It is pure profit. Bumpy becomes her enforcer. He collects debts. He protects her runners. He eliminates threats. Madame Queen trusts him. She teaches him the structure. She shows him the network, the runners, the bankers, the drop points, the payoffs to crooked cops. She tells him the truth about power. You don't need to be the loudest. You need to be the one people fear to cross. 1928. Dutch Schultz arrives in Harlem. Schultz is white, connected, and ruthless. He controls bootlegging operations in the Bronx and wants Harlem's numbers game. He sends 15 men to 7th Avenue and 131st Street. They walk into Madame Queen's betting parlor at 2:30 p.m. They smash the furniture. They beat 2 runners unconscious. They leave a message. Sell or bleed, Madame Queen refuses. She calls Bumpy. He is 23 years old. He selects 8 men. They find Schultz's crew at a speakeasy on Lenox Avenue the next night. Bumpy walks in first. No mask, no hesitation. He shoots the first man in the knee. The second man in the shoulder. The third man runs. Bumpy lets him. The message is clear. Harlem is not for sale. Schultz escalates. He sends 30 men. Bumpy responds with tactics, not numbers. He burns Schultz's liquor trucks. He bribes Schultz's drivers to vanish. He leaks Schultz's delivery schedules to rival gangs. Schultz loses $40,000 in 3 weeks. He pulls back temporarily, but he doesn't forget. 9:30. The Great Depression hits. Harlem suffers first and worst. Unemployment reaches 60%. Families lose homes. Bread lines stretch 5 blocks. The numbers game becomes the only hope for many. People bet their last dollar on a dream. Bumpy understands this. He keeps the payouts honest. If someone wins, they get paid. Word spreads. Trust builds. His reputation grows. Madame Queen expands. She now runs numbers in 5 neighborhoods. Bumpy manages enforcement across all territories. He hires 50 men. He trains them personally. He teaches them restraint. Violence is expensive, he says. Use it only when silence costs more. 9:31. Bumpy is arrested again. Assault with a deadly weapon. He is sent to Sing Sing Correctional Facility. Inside, he meets Charles Lucky Luciano, Meyer Lansky, and other major crime figures. They respect him. They see him as different. Most black criminals are shut out of the Italian and Jewish syndicates. Bumpy is invited in. He learns how the commission works, the ruling body of organized crime families. He learns about unions, trucking, garment districts, and political corruption at the highest levels. He serves 4 years. He is released in 1935. He returns to Harlem. Madam Queen is still in control, but barely. Dutch Schultz has returned with more men and more guns. The war is escalating. She needs Bumpy more than ever. October 23, 1935. Dutch Schultz is murdered at the Palace Chop House in Newark, New Jersey. 2 gunmen walk in at 10:15 p.m. Schultz dies the next day. The commission ordered the hit. Schultz had become too reckless, too visible, too dangerous. His death creates a vacuum in Harlem. Madame Queen moves fast. Bumpy moves faster. Within 3 weeks, Bumpy takes over Schultz's remaining operations. He integrates them into Madame Queen's network. He cuts deals with Italian families downtown. He agrees to pay a percentage in exchange for protection and distribution channels. It is a partnership, not a surrender. He keeps control of Harlem. They keep their cut. Everyone profits. 936. Bumpy Johnson is now the most powerful black gangster in New York City. He runs numbers, loan sharking, and protection rackets. He employs over 200 people. He pays police captains $500 a week to look the other way. He pays judges to dismiss cases. He pays politicians to ignore complaints. The system runs on cash. He provides the cash. The system protects him. But he also does something unusual. He funds local businesses. He gives loans to black shop owners at low interest. He pays for funerals when families cannot afford them. He buys school supplies for kids in his neighborhood. He becomes a Robin Hood figure, feared by enemies, loved by residents. Harlem sees him differently than downtown does. To the police, he is a criminal. To the neighborhood, he is a king. He walks out onto 25th Street in tailored suits and polished shoes. People nod. Children wave. Shopkeepers offer him coffee. He accepts, he pays. He tips well. 1937. Bumpy meets Mayme at a church social on Edgecombe Avenue. She is educated, refined, and unimpressed by his reputation. He pursues her for 6 months. She finally agrees to dinner. They marry in 1939. She becomes his anchor. She keeps him grounded. She runs their household with discipline. She demands respect from his men. She gets it. 1940. World War II begins in Europe. Harlem feels the economic shift. Jobs open in defense factories. Men enlist. Women work. Money flows again. Bumpy adjusts his operations. He reduces numbers betting in areas where people now have steady income. He focuses on loan sharking and luxury goods, silk stockings, imported whiskey, Cuban cigars. He supplies what ration cards cannot. He also begins investing in legitimate businesses. He buys apartment buildings. He opens a nightclub on Lenox Avenue called the Rhythm Club. Jazz musicians perform there. Billie Holiday, Dizzy Gillespie, Thelonious Monk. The club becomes legendary. Police raid it twice. Both times they find nothing. Bumpy keeps his illegal operations separate. The club is clean. It is his public face. 944. Bumpy is arrested again, conspiracy charges. The DA tries to connect him to 14 unsolved murders. There is no physical evidence. Witnesses refuse to testify. The case collapses. He walks free. The DA calls him the Teflon gangster. Nothing sticks, but the FBI begins watching him. J. Edgar Hoover takes personal interest. Hoover hates powerful black men. He hates organized crime. Bumpy is both. Hoover assigns a team to build a federal case. They tap his phones. They follow his cars. They photograph his meetings. They find nothing prosecutable. Bumpy is careful. He speaks in code. He never writes anything down. He never uses his own name on documents. 45. The war ends. Soldiers return home. Harlem celebrates, but the jobs disappear. Factories close. Unemployment rises again. The numbers game roars back. Bumpy is ready. He has runners on every block. He processes over $10,000 in bets daily. His cut is 15%. He makes $2,500 a day. That is $7,500 a year. In 1945 dollars, he is a millionaire, but new competition arrives. Italian crime families want more of Harlem. They send representatives. They offer Bumpy a choice, partnership or war. Bumpy chooses partnership. He is pragmatic. He knows he cannot win a war against 5 families. He agrees to split Harlem's rackets 50-50. He keeps the numbers game. They take loan sharking and narcotics. It is not ideal, but it is survival. 1950. Heroin floods Harlem. The Italian families control the supply. They import it through the French Connection. Morphine base from Turkey, refined in Marseille, shipped to New York. It arrives in Harlem by the kilo. Dealers sell it on every corner. Addiction spreads like fire. Families collapse. Crime skyrockets. Bumpy hates it. He sees what heroin does to his neighborhood. He refuses to sell it. He bans his men from dealing it. He threatens dealers on his blocks. Some listen, some do not. Those who do not disappear. Bodies are found in alleys. The message is clear, not here. But the Italian families pressure him. They want his distribution network. They want his protection. They want his influence. They offer him massive profit. He refuses. They threaten him. He does not move. They try to go around him. He shuts down their dealers. They lose money. Tension builds. 1952, a summit is called. Bumpy meets with representatives from the Genovese, Lucchese, and Bonanno families at a warehouse in the Bronx. He arrives alone. It is a power move. He sits at the table. He listens. They make their case. They say heroin is the future. They say he is blocking progress. They say he needs to cooperate. He responds with one sentence: "Do it not in Harlem." They stare at him. He stares back. The meeting ends. No agreement is reached. Bumpy leaves. He knows war is coming. He prepares. He arms his men. He fortifies his buildings. He bribes more cops. He builds alliances with other black gangsters in Brooklyn and the Bronx. He is ready. But the war does not come. Not yet. The families decide to wait. They focus on other neighborhoods. They expand into Harlem slowly, quietly, without Bumpy's approval. He cannot stop them everywhere. He does not try. He holds his core territory. He keeps his people safe. He maintains control where it matters most. 7. Bumpy is 52 years old. He has survived 3 decades in the underworld. He has been shot twice, stabbed once, arrested over 40 times, convicted 3 times. He has served 15 years in prison total. He has enemies in every borough. But he is still standing, still powerful, still feared. He begins mentoring younger men. One of them is Frank Lucas. Lucas is 27, ambitious and ruthless. Bumpy sees himself in Lucas. He teaches him the rules. He teaches him strategy. He teaches him patience. Lucas listens, he learns. He waits. 1962. Bumpy is arrested again, narcotics conspiracy. This time the evidence is fabricated. A corrupt detective plants heroin in Bumpy's car. Bumpy knows it. His lawyer knows it. The judge does not care. He is convicted. He is sentenced to 15 years. He is sent to Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary. Alcatraz, 1962. Bumpy is inmate AZ-11117. He is housed with the most dangerous criminals in America. He adapts. He reads philosophy. He studies history. He exercises daily. He stays sharp. He refuses to break. He serves 5 years there before Alcatraz closes in 1963. He is transferred to Leavenworth. He serves another 6 years. 1968. Bumpy is released. He is 62 years old. He returns to Harlem. The neighborhood has changed. Heroin has won. Addiction is everywhere. The Italian families control everything. Frank Lucas has taken over much of Bumpy's old network. Lucas is now importing heroin directly from Southeast Asia. Purer, cheaper, more profitable. He is making millions. Bumpy is proud and heartbroken. He tries to rebuild, but his body is failing. Decades of stress, violence, and prison have taken their toll. His heart is weak. His lungs are damaged. He knows his time is short. He spends his final months with Mayme. He walks the streets one last time. People still recognize him. They still nod. He nods back. July 7th, 1968. Bumpy Johnson collapses at Wells Restaurant on Lenox Avenue and 122nd Street. It is 2:15 a.m. He is playing cards with 3 friends. He is holding a full house. He starts to speak, then stops. His eyes close. He falls forward. His friends catch him. Someone calls an ambulance. It arrives 12 minutes later. Paramedics try to revive him. They cannot. He is pronounced dead at Harlem Hospital at 2:47 a.m. Cause of death, congestive heart failure. He is 62 years old. The funeral is held 4 days later at Abyssinian Baptist Church on 138th Street. Over 4,000 people attend. The church holds 800. The rest stand outside. Police estimate the crowd at 5,000. They block off 6 streets. Frank Lucas is there. Mayme is there. Former runners, enforcers, shop owners, and families he helped, all there. No Italian mobsters attend. It is a Harlem funeral. It is a farewell from the kingdom he built. Reverend Adam Clayton Powell, Jr. delivers the eulogy. He does not call Bumpy a saint. He calls him a man who protected his people when the system would not. He calls him a man who kept order when chaos threatened. He calls him a man who made the powerful uncomfortable. The crowd murmurs in agreement. Mayme sits in the front row. She does not cry. She stares straight ahead. She knows what her husband was. She loved him anyway. Bumpy Johnson is buried at Woodlawn Cemetery in the Bronx. His headstone is simple. No titles, no grand words. Just his name and dates. Ellsworth, Bumpy Johnson. 1905-1968. Mayme visits twice a week for the next 20 years until her own death in 2009. But his death does not end his influence. His methods become legend. His rules are studied. His territory is fought over for decades. Frank Lucas uses Bumpy's connections and reputation to build his own empire. Lucas imports heroin, hidden in the coffins of dead American soldiers returning from Vietnam. He floods Harlem with blue magic, 98% pure heroin. He makes $1 million a day at his peak. He credits Bumpy for teaching him everything. The Italian families continue their expansion. The Genovese family takes full control of Harlem's narcotics trade. They run it for another 15 years until federal RICO prosecutions dismantle their operations in the 1980s. By then, Harlem is unrecognizable. Crack cocaine replaces heroin. Gang violence replaces organized crime. The kingdom Bumpy built is gone, but his legacy remains. He proved a black man could run a criminal empire without answering to white crime syndicates. He proved intelligence and strategy could defeat larger forces. He proved loyalty and respect could be more powerful than fear alone. He proved Harlem could govern itself, even if that governance was illegal. His story becomes myth. Filmmakers tell it. Screenwriters embellish it. Historians debate it. Denzel Washington plays him in American Gangster in 2007. Forrest Whitaker plays him in Godfather of Harlem in 2019. Each version adds layers. Each version removes others. The real Bumpy Johnson is somewhere in between, neither saint nor monster, but a man who played a rigged game and refused to lose quietly. His wife Mayme writes a memoir in 2008, 1 year before her death. It is called Harlem Godfather, the rap on my husband, Ellsworth Bumpy Johnson. She describes him as loving, disciplined, and fiercely protective. She admits his crimes. She does not apologize for them. She says he did what he had to do to survive in a country that gave him no other options. She says he built something out of nothing. She says Harlem was his kingdom, because he earned it, block by block, year by year, without permission from anyone. Historians argue about his morality. Some call him a criminal who poisoned his own community. Others call him a protector who fought against greater evils, the Mafia, corrupt police, racist politicians. Both are true. He ran illegal gambling operations that exploited poor people's desperation. He also loaned money to those same people when banks refused them. He used violence to maintain control. He also used that control to keep worse violence out. He was a contradiction, like most men in impossible circumstances. His influence on organized crime is undeniable. He was one of the first black gangsters to negotiate as an equal with Italian and Jewish syndicates. He forced them to recognize Harlem as sovereign territory. He created a model that other black criminals followed, from Nicky Barnes in the ED 1970s to Alpo Martinez in the 1980s to the crack kingpins of the 1990s. They all studied Bumpy. They all tried to replicate his success. None lasted as long. Law enforcement studied him too. The FBI's file on Bumpy Johnson is over 700 pages. It details his operations, his associates, his properties, his finances. But it never results in a major federal conviction. He is too careful, too smart, too protected. He understands something most criminals do not. The system only prosecutes you when you become a political liability. He never becomes one. He stays in Harlem. He keeps his violence contained. He pays the right people. He survives. His death marks the end of an era. The old code, honor, loyalty, community investment, dies with him. The new era is colder, faster, more reckless. Dealers kill children. Addicts rob grandmothers. Neighborhoods burn. Bumpy's generation had rules. The next generation has none. Harlem remembers him. Murals appear on 135th Street. Old men tell stories about the time Bumpy saved their father's store or paid for their sister's funeral. Young men wear T-shirts with his face. They do not know the full story. They know the legend. They know a black man once controlled Harlem without bowing to anyone. That is enough. 62 years, 14 arrests, 3 prison terms, countless enemies. One kingdom. Bumpy Johnson built it without permission, defended it without apology, and left it without regret. When his heart stopped at Wells' restaurant, the waitress wiped the table, collected his cards, and served the next customer. Life continued. Harlem continued. But the throne stayed empty. No one filled it. No one could.